A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Fariha Naeem, along with my co-comparer Rishabh Mathur, would like to extend a warm welcome on behalf of Department of Transportation Management, School of Business, UPES, and would like to thank each one of you for joining us for today's webinar. We continue the series of the webinar on impact of COVID-19 on the aviation industry and the new changes taking place. And now we have taken a flight to another webinar through UPES showcasing how aviation has unfolded in collaboration with Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd.
As it was nicely quoted by Mr. G.P. Gupta, Chief Strategic Officer, spiced it that tough times do not last, but tough people do. With this view, Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd has been continuously involved with Department of Transportation Management, School of Business, UPES, to help students enhance their knowledge and stay updated with the happenings around the world. Department of Transportation Management, UPES, in collaboration with Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd, organized a pre-webinar with guest of honor Dr. Ashwani Khanna on enhancing passenger confidence using sustainable disinfection solutions. Dr. Ashwani Khanna gave an insightful session into the usage of UV rays for the disinfection of aircrafts using robotic technology and how robotic approach can benefit aviation safety issues during the challenging times of COVID-19. Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd has continuously offered immense learning opportunities to students of UPES by offering them internships in order to upskill their knowledge and make them future ready. I would like to invite Prarita from BBA third year to share her experience of summer internship program done under Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd.
A very good evening to all of you, to all the dignitaries. I'm Prarita from BBA Aviation Operations final year. So I'm here to share my experience I had with Aerotech Support Services during my summer internship in 2020. So I undertook 3 projects, namely the aircraft interior cleaning, secondly the taxibot digital program, and something about Aeroopt. So highlighting the taxibot digital program, as we know that taxibot is a sustainable alternate solution for taxiing. So our work was to promote and make people aware of taxibot. So I worked in a team of 4 from the students from my class, and we made posters, animations, videos, and wrote various blogs, snippets for taxibot. Again, we promoted this on World Environment Day. And I'm very proud to share that India is the first country in the world to use taxibot commercially, and hence leading the sustainable future of aviation. So in totality, it was a great learning experience. I also want to thank Dr. Ashwani Khanna, my mentor, for supporting us and guiding us, and my HOD sir, Dr.Neeraj Anand, for his guidance. Thank you.
Today, we are here presenting you an erudite series of webinar on the topic enhancing passenger confidence using sustainable disinfection measures. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished speakers for the event. With us, we have Dr. Ashwani Khanna, Executive Director, Aerotech Support Services, Mr. Ramanathan Rajamani, Chief Executive Officer, Air India SATS, and Mr. Sai Haemath, Founder and CEO, Janyu Tech.
We are having.
Okay. On a lighter note, I was telling Dr. Anand that we will gift one UV equipment to the university, so you'll make sure all the classes are clean and the basic areas are all so.
That would be really nice on that. I think looking at the European numbers of France and all that, that's what it is like. I think in a better position over here.
Yes.
Because the other education institutions with whom we generally talk, like Sheetal does this thing, internationalization, there are lots of complaints that till May, I think they will not start, because we have ready to, many of other institutions have started. Only challenge with UPS is 85% of the students are outside the Uttarakhand. So bringing them accommodate would be a challenge on that.
Okay.
That was a boon and a bane also in both the ways.
Okay.
I know on having students of 85% who are outside Uttarakhand, but again, that becomes a big thing. I think students have already come. They are roaring to come to the campus. The parents are a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
please,
Mr. Prageesh has come on board. Can somebody put him on the screen?
Yes,
please?
sir. I have promoted him to panelist, sir. He is rejoining, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Is
But have you
Aditya's
informed him
screen
that
visible?
you promote? Can you check Mr. Pragesh, has he come through?
Yes, sir. Checking, sir.
Manik will start. I think, the guest.
Manik bhai, please make Mr. Pragesh the moderator, or you can say the go.
So we can start. It is already.
Yeah, we can start, Nikhil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We can start, sir.
Yeah.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Fariha Naeem, along with my co-comparer Rishabh Mathur, would like to extend a warm welcome on behalf of Department of Transportation Management, School of Business, UPES, and would like to thank each one of you for joining us for today's webinar. We continue the series of the webinar on impact of COVID-19 on the aviation industry and the new changes taking place. And now we have taken a flight to another webinar through UPES showcasing how aviation has unfolded in collaboration with Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd.
As it was nicely quoted by Mr. G.P. Gupta, Chief Strategic Officer, spiced it that tough times do not last, but tough people do. With this view, Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd has been continuously involved with Department of Transportation Management, School of Business, UPES, to help students enhance their knowledge and stay updated with the happenings around the world. Department of Transportation Management, UPES, in collaboration with Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd, organized a pre-webinar with guest of honor Dr. Ashwani Khanna on enhancing passenger confidence using sustainable disinfection solutions. Dr. Ashwani Khanna gave an insightful session into the usage of UV rays for the disinfection of aircrafts using robotic technology and how robotic approach can benefit aviation safety issues during the challenging times of COVID-19. Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd has continuously offered immense learning opportunities to students of UPES by offering them internships in order to upskill their knowledge and make them future ready. I would like to invite Praritha from BBA third year to share her experience of summer internship program done under Aerotech Support Services Pvt Ltd.
A very good evening to all of you, to all the dignitaries. I'm Praritha from BBA Aviation Operations final year. So I'm here to share my experience I had with Aerotech Support Services during my summer internship in 2020. So I undertook 3 projects, namely the aircraft interior cleaning, secondly the taxibot digital program, and something about Aerotech. So highlighting the taxibot digital program, as we know that taxibot is a sustainable alternate solution for taxiing. So our work was to promote and make people aware of taxibot. So I worked in a team of 4 from the students from my class, and we made posters, animations, videos, and wrote various blogs, snippets for taxibot. Again, we promoted this on World Environment Day. And I'm very proud to share that India is the first country in the world to use taxibot commercially, and hence leading the sustainable future of aviation. So in totality, it was a great learning experience. I also want to thank Dr. Ashwani Khanna, my mentor, for supporting us and guiding us, and my HOD sir, Dr.Neeraj Anand, for his guidance. Thank you.
Today, we are here presenting you an erudite series of webinar on the topic enhancing passenger confidence using sustainable disinfection measures. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished speakers for the event. With us, we have Dr. Ashwani Khanna, Executive Director, Aerotech Support Services, Mr. Ramanathan Rajamani, Chief Executive Officer, Air India SATS, and Mr. Sai Hemant, Founder and CEO, Janyu Tech.
We have Mr. Prageesh, please, from Air India Express. He's come on board, please. Please welcome him as well. Um, uh, Dr. Bangaraju, I think I see Mr. Pragesh as well. He's logged on.
Yeah. 1 second, I'll ask. Rishabh, can you just make it? Mani, can you please? I'll welcome.
Yes, sir. Aditya, you can stop sharing.
Yeah, I request now, Mr. Pragesh, can you please speak a few words, sir? You're there. I think you need to say, yeah, he has switched on his mic. Mr. Pragesh, yeah.
I think there is a serious issue where I am. Anyways, I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. I am Prageesh, Chief of Corporate Communications, Air India Express. And at Air India Express, we are very much thankful to Aerotech Services and to Dr. Ashwani Khanna, of course, for introducing the UV-based technology to the airline. And Air India Express has become India's first airline to host the technology at Delhi Airport. And I'm sure that you might have seen the kind of media attention and the attention it has got from all the stakeholders. To give you a brief background of Air India Express, we are headquartered at Cochin, Kerala. We are India's first international budget airline. We started our commercial operations way back in 2005. We predominantly fly to destinations in Middle East and Southeast Asia. For the last 5 consecutive years, this airline was making profits because of course, because of the passenger confidence that they have on our brand. And the technology, especially the UV technology, it has helped us a lot because, the new normal passenger, the greatest concern than anything else is hygiene, safety, sanitization. So, we could demonstrate the kind of commitment that we have to the industry and to our passengers by introducing this technology. I should, put it on record that Air India Express is indebted to AI SATS, our ground handling agency, and Aerotech Services for, giving us this opportunity of trying this technology. And we are now, planning to extend it to other airports for the UV sanitization process. Because we see that for the airline industry, for the coming years or for the coming days, more surfaces, its areas, sanitized. That's going to have a great bearing on the commercial interest of the airline. So happy that this time we got the chance to be the pioneer for, and we also expect that these and reach out to our stakeholders effectively. So I'm very happy all you all.
Sir, I think there's some network issue.
What is it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
can hear you now.
Yeah, I was, hello.
Carry on, Prageesh. Carry on.
Yeah, I was just, talking about the commercial, aspects of having a sanitized aircraft, because the new normal passenger, that's going to be his greatest concern. So this time we came the with the association in which the industry the requirements more, and help us out to our stakeholders in a better way to hear the conversations.
Sorry, I guess there is some network issues with Prageesh sir's network. So I guess, hello, sir.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hear more from you people.
Yeah, sure, sir. I would like to request Faria to take over.
Now, I would like to invite the Professor T.B. Raju sir to introduce Department of Transportation Management, School of Business. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I will be sharing my PPT here. Please. This thing. Sir, good evening, Prageesh sir. I'm damn happy to interact with you. In fact, we have got some, I know Ashwani Khanna, we have been having a long time relationship with him. We are also aware Mr. Alok Singh is also there with you, the CEO, I think. He had been a faculty over here. Yeah, Alok Singh has been teaching, we have been calling him as a visiting faculty to teach revenue management. In the summer for students. Alok Singh has got some Dehradun connection also, so he had been frequently visiting. Yeah, sir. So we are quite, a lot of our alumni know him personally also. He's a rock star management section. So for 2 years or 3 years, he had been visiting our. We're damn happy that to have him on your board also there, this thing, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, sir.
We're happy to hear.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for that. Just a ritual, and since the people from the industry are there to give an introduction about the department, I'm doing it on behalf of my head of the department, who is actually busy in a NAC audit, government audit, which is going on. Like you are busy in your this thing, so he's also busy with our. So I'll just give go through this thing. Yeah. So we have Department of Transportation Management. Our aviation programs have been, we have started in 2005. We are the pioneers in that. These are the programs which we are offering. Again, those are like the domain programs. Like MBA Aviation is known, BBA Aviation Operations. We were the pioneers, and even today, till today, I think we are one of the leading in the aviation management. Apart from this, we also have aerospace and avionics also in the engineering, which we cater to the thing. Then travel tourism, travel and tourism, then logistics management, then MBA Logistics Supply Chain is a flagship program. Then we have doctorate programs in transportation management. So people are quite aware. The who is who of the aviation industry are there. Then USP, definitely, as I spoke to you, we have good tie-ups with the IATA also. Ours is the IATA Recognize Center for offering IATA programs. Then people are known over here. I mean, the whole country is known in the transportation management. Then we also have some ICAO certification also has been done in the past over here. Then apart from the Indian accreditations, NAC and all, we are also ISCB. This department is ISCB accreditation is there. And these are the salient features known for placements and all. Consistently, we have been doing agro supply chain conference and good publications also. In aviation, I think the Journal of Air Transport Management is quite known. I think quite a lot of us have published in that journal also. And yes, as a at a pretty nice center over here, which we are doing it. For DBA, we are offering mandatory travel and tourism as a part of their curriculum. Just of the faculty whom we have over here. From the aviation, I think quite known, DP Singh is there. Then we have Bharti, then Mohit Rishi. So these are, and I think the new joinees are also have, we have got Sendil Kumar. I think we have not put the photograph over here. He has joined, who is qualified from Cranfield University at UK. And then we have got Soumya Jain also. She has recently joined. She has, I think, just completed PhD from IIT Delhi. So there's a glimpse of that. And we have e-supply chain. We had even Amber Dubey. A lot of people have been supporting our thing. Vijay Sadhana is there. So these are quite known in the industry and academia out there. And Ashwani Khanna is quite a regular supporter to us. I think you could see us currently supporting our this domain. These are the glimpse of some of the awards, certificates which are faculty, and especially the IATA part is quite known. Two of our faculty have been sent to Singapore for this train the trainer program in Singapore. You can see Bharti again. Then some industry visits quite known. We send them to GMR is the the most favorite destination. Prageesh, if next time if you could give us some support, we will send our students to Cochin over there. We'll be happy if they can, every time it had been a big first choice to go to Cochin. Only I think that issues on the permission part had been then. And we have sent some of our students for internship to Munich airport also in the past, due to support with the University of Applied Sciences in Germany. Let's send there. These are the glimpses of that. We have been doing some programs, joint programs with University of Applied Sciences at Germany. So these are the glimpses of photographs which we have been offering, and some conferences which UPES have been. So these are the activities which we do over here, and you could see that this Udaan is one of the program for aviation. That is the domain club, which is now hosting also in this webinar. So we have got supply chain, logisticas, Urja. We've got all those things going on. Then apart from like what today we are doing Zoom, but we have a Blackboard software as a learning management system. It's quite leading software in US and Europe is there. Then guest lectures by industry experts. Yes, definitely we like people like you to come and teach the classroom. So practitioners coming to addressing our students is definitely advantage. And co-teaching where academia and industry people could deliver a lot of lectures to the students to give a blend of practice and theory. And these are some of the students who have gone under student exchange program, just to show you where this thing. So they've gone to Munich airport. Yeah, the recent student is Arun Kumar, has gone to Exeter University at France, and which is also given the aviation part. So which is I think student exchange program. Then Maribor, which I already told, Munich airport, which we have sent all that. Then we have PEP, PSI program, summer internships and final placements in industries. This is a part of our curriculum. So other thing, I think this is one which we'll be looking at is Air India Express. In fact, Alok Singh, and we will want the students to be taken at least to start with the internships over there, which is, I think that is one area, I think, where to get a challenge to get internships in a government PSU, which is there. So these are some of the star alumni whom we feel, I think we are known to be leading in revenue management. So especially in the airlines, all the vice presidents, Vistara, AirAsia, or SpiceJet. So all the revenue management is dominated by the alumni of UPS, quite known. We have shown the photographs who are now there. And in the logistics, supply chain and shipping, we have got students who are, we have put the photographs. And entrepreneurs, yes, definitely. There's a retail chain, and here, and we have shown some few entrepreneurs who are there. So then I think the student chapter activities is the Udaan, which is our pride. We have started this in 2012, and a student-driven program. So I think all these activities are done by these students over there. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for listening to about our department. Yeah, Fariha, to you. Yeah, you can carry on.
Now, we would like to play a small clip on technology in grounds of aviation.
I'm sharing file.
Very old when you give a long list of things that I have done, but I must thank every one of you, especially Prageesh sir, who's at very short notice has found time to join the conference. The whole idea of Aerotech support services, the foundation is to bring in technology, to bring in projects which will help save uh, money for the airlines. So when you bring in technologies and projects which eventually help the airlines or the aviation industry to save, you are a more acceptable service partner. So with this in mind, we set up Aerotech support services, and so far we have supported KSU Aviation where I'm a director as well. The TaxiBot project was the first project, and the UV disinfection is the second project. We are already working on a third project, and something which most of you may not have heard about, but we have been working on this for some time, is aircraft recovery. Today in our country, aircraft recovery is a very complex and not very clearly understood subject. And through IATA, I was associated as the steering committee member of the World Aircraft Recovery Task Force. And so for 4 years, I was into that group where policies regarding aircraft recovery, who will come in, whether the airport should do it, should the airline do it, ground handler should do it, is a question not just in India, but world over. And I must tell you that all over the world, there are only 13 kits, which IATA pool kits, which we call it. And IATA hasn't given it free of cost. It is a technical pool. That means anybody who's part of that pool has to pay for it. And so there are only 13 kits all over the world. And fortunately, in India, there is one in Mumbai, and Air India is the manager for the pool kit. And so it's a large area. Tomorrow, if something happens in Sri Lanka or Nepal, the kit which is in Mumbai will have to be moved there. And today, with the kind of situation we are in aviation in India, you would need at least about 4 to 5 kits to service the Indian airports and the Indian subcontinent itself. So that is one area we are really working hard, and we've been able to work with the various authorities to streamline some thought process on this. So with Aerotech, we try and bring in value. And when we say we bring in value, it's always in terms of bringing in newer concepts which will support and help save money for the airlines. And right now, because the whole concept and the discussion is around UV disinfection, I must tell you, and I'm very, very happy to introduce also Mr. Sai Hemant, who's a founder director with Janyu Tech. This is a company which specializes in industrial robotics, and they are an alumni of IIT Mumbai. And through one of the forums where I was, working with the Aeronautical Society of India, I interacted with them. I found them very professional, very knowledgeable, and I was happy to put the last mile together for the UV vector air, the equipment which is in the background of Farah, which is the equipment which is being used by Air India Express right now. Uh, uh, this equipment is basically a brainchild from Janyu Tech, and I have only put in a small portion of my effort to it, and the real credit goes to Janyu Tech in putting this together. And I'm very happy to have collaborated with them. Today, apart from India, we have queries from UK, we have queries from Middle East. There are people who want to have this equipment to service the aircrafts that they are, attending to. Some airlines too are speaking to us directly. So I feel that this product will stay and will move forward as time moves on. The best part of this product is that it does disinfection. It gives you a confidence that you are using some technology which is futuristic by its thought and implementation. It is precise, it is robotic, so there is no human intervention where people at times may get tired. People at times, even if they would want to put in their best of efficiency, sometimes, lose to, touch upon all the areas where passengers would be exposed to in the cabins, and therefore making the air travel more vulnerable. This is in continuation with the other industry programs we have done in collaboration with UPES on building up passenger confidence ever since COVID started. And this is another series of some interventions that we have been able to put across. And vector air is one such initiative. Apart from vector air, which is designed to keep in mind the dimensions of a interior of an aircraft, we also have vector plus and vector, which are equipment which are used for general areas like back offices, seating areas, lounges. It can be used in trains, in buses, in any area where there is a lot of exposure. There are some schools which are talking to us, and they feel that with the schools opening, with the kids coming back to school, we should have the UV disinfection done in the classrooms as well. So there is a wide application, and I feel that technology should be used as much as it can. A lot of questions come that with COVID going, will the UV disinfection go? And my answer is that will cleaning go with COVID going? So cleaning has become part of the whole process, and so is disinfection. And I must also tell you, the more I study and more I understand UV, it is not just for COVID or related viruses or bacteria. People have different kinds of problems. I don't say that they are bad, but some of them have skin irritations, allergies. They have all kinds of other problems, and when they travel, probably it is important that a proper disinfection of the aircraft would only help restore confidence in traveling people. And in my opinion, this is here to stay. UV technology has been used in the medical sciences from a very, very long time and is known now to be very effective. And I must also tell you, the band at which the UV rays which are emitted from UV vector air, the equipment that we supply to the airline, works on 254 nanometer wavelength, and between 250 to 265 is considered as what is called the germicidal band of the UVC, or UVC band itself is called the germicidal band of the UV light, which is most effective in killing bacteria, virus, mold, fungus, you name it. And this can be very useful. The only one thing one has to be careful, and that is that you have to maintain a distance. UV rays, when they are harmful to any bacteria and virus, are also harmful to human beings. And therefore, I once again like to thank Janyu Tech for looking into the robotic angle of managing this machine, where this machine can be operated as far as about 25 to 30 meters. That means you can stand on the first row of the aircraft and clean right up till, or disinfect right up till the 30th row of the aircraft. So normally we recommend between 8 to 10 rows of distance in between when disinfection happens. And so there are huge features in it in terms of cameras, in terms of logging. So this is the only equipment where what you do gets logged on. And if anybody wants to know whether the disinfection really happened, you can have a log when the equipment was started, who started it, on which gate this was used at the airport, which was the aircraft tail number on which this was performed. So months after the job is done, if somebody asks you about details of what was done, you would be able to take out that data from a laptop. And this is all held on to, data is held on to a server. So I personally feel that this is a great equipment. This is built with keeping aviation in mind, and it is not just some equipment which is throwing UV rays. It is keeping totally in mind the dimensions, how it will be operated, how the information will be logged, and how it will be loaded, offloaded from the aircraft. um, uh, I must say that I can continue to go on. I have a very little period here, and other speakers need to speak about their own organizations and how they their experience of using the vector air is. And with this, I like to only thank everyone to have taken time to have attended this conference. And I'm sure the university would put this information together and publish some articles so that everybody who's traveling would read about them, understand what Air India SATs, what Air India Express as visionary business partners have been able to see, which actually has touched hearts of many passengers. With this, I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bangaraju, and all the students who put in together to get this thing organized. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your sincere knowledge with us.
Moving forward, now I would like to introduce our first guest, Sir Ramanathan Rajamani, Chief Executive Officer, Air India SATS. Sir has more than 15 years of experience in both military and civil aviation sectors. Sir started his career as an engineer in Defense Science and Technology Agency, ensuring the reliability of fighter jets for the Republic of Singapore Air Force in 2001. He then moved to Endeco Engineers in 2006 to lead several marquee projects for both commercial and military ground operations. Sir subsequently joined SATS in 2011 as the head of the engineering team, which developed and won the first patent for the organization. He has also won Singapore's prestigious National Productivity Award in 2016 for his enormous contribution to SATS. Mr. Ramanathan has been graduated from the National University of Singapore with a Bachelor of Engineering as well as a Master of Science majoring in Logistics. Sir was subsequently awarded an Executive Master of Business Administration from the Nanyang Technological University and the International Air Transport Association under the joint sponsorship of SATS and Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore. Over to you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Ashwani Khanna, for having me here today with you. And I would like to thank the faculty members of UPS for having me here as well. And thank you to all the students and whoever has tuned in today. I'm happy to be here. I seldom participate in webinars, but this was something that I couldn't refuse because it gives me an opportunity to be here together with the students, and it always makes me feel younger. All right. All right, I'll just give a brief background of Air India SATS for the benefit of those who may not know. Air India SATS is actually a 50-50 joint venture between Air India, our national carrier, and SATS, which is a ground handling company from Singapore. SATS used to be a subsidiary of Singapore Airlines once upon a time, but now it's a public listed company, and therefore it has branched out into many countries. So I've been here in India for the last 2 years heading this organization. And one of the things I set out to do is to ensure that we make a difference in the industry and contribute to the aviation growth in India. So we set out by saying that we have to be a trendsetter, provide new airport solutions, be the first mover in many ways, whichever ways we can. So then came this pandemic last year, as you guys would know. Just to give you some numbers, when I look at my last year's data, Air India SATS we operate out of 5 stations in India at the moment, biggest being Delhi, followed by Bangalore, Hyderabad, Trivandrum, and Mangalore. The pre-COVID flight volumes we used to handle used to be about 12,000 flights a month and about 3 million passengers a month. Right now, as of January this year, the numbers are only hovering about 60% of the flights, which means we are only handling about 7,000 flights a month at the moment in the 5 stations, and passenger volume is like 1.4 million, right? Which is less than 50%. So as we were thinking, what can we do to contribute towards improving the passenger confidence to get this back on track? You know, only if passengers begin to travel and have the confidence in the airlines and the stakeholders in the aviation industry, then we can see the industry picking up and ensure the survivability of all the stakeholders. So then came this, Dr. Ashwani with this solution, and we thought, hey, why not? Sounds interesting, futuristic, and it will save us a lot of hassle to what we were already doing in terms of disinfection. Of course, we were using the normal solutions that was recommended by the authorities and the industry to disinfect all the surfaces in the aircraft. But of course, it comes with its own pain points. You need to deal with chemicals and solutions, which means you have to manage the inventory. You need to manage the application of the solution in the aircraft, which means staff need to be trained properly. They need to follow SOPs. And then you have to prevent spillages, which will become a hazardous, situation. So the moment you have many manual interventions in the application or in using the disinfectant, it gives room for human error. And when we chance upon this solution from Dr. Ashwani Khanna, we realize that, hey, it eliminates most of our concerns. It's an automated machine. It's autonomous. You just set the machine in the middle of the aisle in the aircraft cabin, and it goes on its own. It's Wi-Fi enabled. It has a system to log the activity. And as what Dr. Ashwani Khanna explained on the technicalities behind it, it's 99.9% capable of disinfecting and removing the virus or the germs. So we thought that will boost the confidence of the passengers. And in fact, not only the passengers, I was happy to hear from Mr. Prageesh earlier on. He's a happy customer of ours now. We also have a couple of other clients waiting to use this on board. One thing it does is for the airlines, the cabin crew will become more confident. And when the cabin crew working in the aircraft are more confident, the service levels will automatically improve. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, of course, passenger confidence. They know that the aircraft they are flying in is safe, right? I mean, now many people are getting vaccinated, but that is just one aspect of it. But the surface that you are touching, the seats that you're sitting in, it needs to be safe for travel. That gives a lot of comfort to the passenger. So in a way, it helps the airline industry come back to where it was previously. So that is how we started off in this UV disinfection venture together with Dr. Ashwani Khanna. I should thank him again for bringing this solution to us. There are many technological solutions available, but a solution that is practical, that is implementable, and that is affordable will hit the market eventually. Not all solutions will make it to the market. So that is something that we have to remember as we look for more solutions to make the industry more safe and more viable. That's all I have to share at the moment.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really a wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
We would like to inform our audience that Captain Rajkumar Rao, Chief Operating Officer, Air India Express, won't be able to join the session as he had to take a flight on international station.
I would now like to invite Mr. Haemath Manchella, co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Janyu Tech. Sir holds a degree in Bachelor's of Technology and Master's of Technology in Aerospace Engineering. Sir has specialization in controls and dynamics. Sir, I request you to tell us about UV Vector Air and Janyu Tech. Over to you, sir.
Very good evening to one and all, Rajkumarji and Dr. Ashwani and all the other faculty of UPES and the students. A very warm welcome and good evening to all. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'd like to take this opportunity to specifically thank Dr. Ashwani Khanna to have taken a machine in conception to a product in commercial use. Without their team's consistent support and on-field activities, I'm sure the UV machine would not have seen the light of the day. Coming to the area where robotics can play a significant role in the aviation sector particularly, we are in fact discussing with Dr. Ashwani in areas related to maintaining the surface properties of the aircraft on the outer side using some robotic arms with a certain type of brushes so that the turbulence can be reduced and the drag can be reduced significantly and can save a couple of crores per aircraft per year. And we're also working on, we've been deploying as Janyu Tech robots for chemical and petroleum industries for working in confined spaces. So again, we are discussing possibilities of, there are a good number of confined spaces in a given aircraft and a given airport, wherein currently humans are being deployed to do this dangerous activities like sludge cleaning, whether it is a STP or a ETP or a water reservoir or a fuel tank. So these can be done in with the intervention of robots and humans being only operators. This is another thing that we are working with Dr. Ashwani. Alongside this, in the metal handling area, I think we are working on coming up with some real good solutions so that the overall transit time for the luggage shift can also come down over a period of time. So there are a lot of interesting things that are coming up, and an amalgamation of the automation and IT, the Industry 4.0 in the aviation sector, I'm sure is set to revolutionize the sector, increase the bottom lines, while the technologies like the UV disinfection increases the confidence in the passenger fraternity. In fact, I've been able to tell to my own parents that they'll be much more safer traveling in the aircraft now compared to any other form of transport. So it is with confidence that we can say that now, and I hope this goes on for all the other airlines as well. And thank you, UPES, for organizing such a wonderful session. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful insights.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We are now open for question and answer round. Dr. Ashwani Khanna will be the moderator for this round. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I would come quick. Mr. Prageesh, if he's there, probably we would request his attention.
Sir,
And,
actually, he left.
Oh, because of
because
the bad
of network
connection?
issue. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. So I let me have some nice conversation with Mr. Ramana for a change in while 170 people are listening to our discussion, and with Mr. Hemant. So the whole idea is right now that we have an equipment. This is servicing the airline industry. So let us ask, while Mr. Ramana was quite candid, and so was Mr. Prageesh, regarding the comfort they are having with the UV vector air. But just from aligning a thought process, Mr. Ramana, in your opinion, you know, what 2-3 factors really encouraged you to venture into a UV disinfection kind of intervention that you chose to go forward with?
Okay, as I said, we wanted to be a trendsetter, and this solution was futuristic. And if we were to deploy it, it will be the first of its kind in India, right? That was the first factor that excited us. Secondly, the efficacy, the efficiency of the equipment, and the fact that it was better than just using the chemicals of the solutions. That was the second part of it. So it's proven through all your lab tests and all the demos that we have done that it's actually better and more effective in disinfecting the surfaces in the aircraft. And of course, the third aspect is, as I mentioned, with the chemicals that we were using and all that, there's a lot of logistics hassle behind it. And monitoring how the staff actually use it on the surface is another question mark. And as I said, those manual processes gives room for human error. Whereas using this technology and this methodology eliminates that as well. So it gives a comfort for us at the management level to know that actually the disinfection will be carried out properly in the aircraft without any human errors in between. So these were the various factors that actually nudged us forward to say, hey, why not use it, when it's available? And thanks to you again for bringing it forward to us, and at an affordable level. And of course, the important thing is having a customer airline who is willing to use it in their aircraft. So it all fell into place. And therefore we said, okay, let's be the first one to do it.
Okay, thank you, sir. And while Air India Express was very happy, and I think they made it quite clear, but would you like to share some some feedback that you have received from them in terms of the output of this equipment on their usage.
Yep, I was actually very glad to hear Prageesh being happy about it just now. And the truth of the matter is now they're asking us to do it in the rest of the stations as well. So that itself is a ratification, certification to the success of this service. Well, as I mentioned earlier, of course, we were all talking about the passenger confidence. What we realized is the cabin crew themselves were more confident and happy. They felt safer. Sometimes they are out there to work without a choice, right? They have to work in the cabin in a confined space, and they are there day in, day out, and they are seeing so many passengers come in and out. So what gives them the confidence that the surface around them that they are walking around all the time is clean and safe? So that was something that Air India Express was happy about. That the staff were happier and more confident, which is very important. Even before we translate that happiness to passenger happiness and confidence, right? So this is what we hear from the customer. And now I'm glad to say that we have a couple of other clients ready in the pipeline, and we should be starting anytime soon this month.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And because there are a lot of students and aviation students here, if I may just digress a bit to get into a basic aviation kind of a discussion. I know with COVID, everybody was shaken up in the market, and what do you think have been the three, four key challenges or areas of concern which came to your light as a industry, as a service partner with the COVID-19 impact? How was it with you as an organization?
Okay, there were several challenges. Okay, one key factor that came to light is the need to reduce the human touch points in the entire ecosystem, right? As you know, ground handling is a very labor-intensive industry, and throughout all the services that we provide, right from check-in all the way to the pushback of the aircraft, you need to have human. You need to have staff on the ground operating the equipment, staff at the check-in counters, checking in passengers, staff at the gateway room, boarding the passengers at the screening level, baggage handling, cargo handling, or be it the aircraft interior cleaning or exterior cleaning, all the various services. We have thousands of staff deployed. One thing that this COVID taught us is now we got to be more productive and have less human touch points, which is why now you see there's more and more screening, automated screening at the airports that we are experimenting with, self check-in, right? You have more web check-in, mobile check-in, and self check-in kiosks deployed at the terminals. Even the self check-in kiosk now we are seeing how it can be touchless, meaning to say you just scan the QR code and key in your particulars using your own mobile rather than using the kiosk there. So that is another thing that's happening. Then self backdrop also being experimented. Self screening subsequent to that, self boarding using facial recognition tools. So all the way, especially in the terminal side, land side, we are trying to see how we can make it seamless for the passenger and less human touch points at these areas. It means it has the implication to us service provider because we have thousands of staff deployed, right? So what are we going to do with all these staff who are going to be displaced due to this adoption of technology in these areas? Then, of course, the next thing we do is, okay, let's embrace the technology. Technology was already there being experimented, used in various airports around the world. Even in Terminal 4 in Changi Airport in Singapore, they had already deployed facial recognition for the boarding. But in India, we were a bit slow to adopt these technologies because we have a lot of manpower. Let's take it easy. Let's take it slow, but now the whole thing has hastened, right? The adoption of technology has just gone extremely fast now. So two things need to happen. One is the existing staff. What do we do with them? We need to upskill them, right? We need to train them in using the technologies or using the automated processes, reduce the manual processes in between, right? We have started experimenting with IoT for deployment of equipment and tracking of equipment at the air side as well. That is another thing we are toying around with. How do we connect all the dots in the various processes? One of the other things that we are doing is we are training our staff to use technology to monitor the activities even in the air side. When the plane lands, you need to talk the wheels and then all the activities will start around the airplane. Now we have IoT devices fixed on our equipment in Bangalore. We've started, all the activities are monitored. There's a camera with artificial intelligence that tracks each and every activity. It is logged. So the supervisors and the duty managers are taught. So this is where we are upskilling our staff to the next level to embrace the technology and use the technology to their advantage to monitor the activities. So that is also happening. So the other thing is, while we're upskilling the staff, the next thing is we need to invest in some of the technologies as well. Of course, we have industry partners like Aerotech, yourself, some other companies that come along our way to say, okay, let's partner to provide these technological solutions to our aviation ecosystem, right? So end of the day is the challenges have now become actually opportunities for the future. Even though, as I said, the volumes are not that fantastic at the moment, the air traffic is not fantastic. I think the next 2-3 years is where we need to make use of this extra bandwidth that we have to prepare ourselves for the boom in the aviation that will definitely come back within 2-3 years' time.
Okay, this is definitely very good that you see the positive side of things and how this can be unfolded into an opportunity rather than a challenge. Just if I may just put across over here, in your opinion, what is the outlook of the Indian aviation sector vis-a-vis international aviation? Do you see any change, or do you see future? Do you see things wrapping up faster in India? How the job market would pick up? Good part which you spoke about is that a lot of skill will be required than just numbers, which is a very good thing, and that's what all the university students would be happy, because that's what university and educational institutions are for, upskilling people and their thought processes. Could you tell us more about what your opinion about the aviation outlook is?
Okay, I'm generally an optimist. All right. So I've been struggling this year. I mean, due to the COVID, due to the way the industry has unfolded due to the pandemic. But nevertheless, as I said, I think give it another 2-3 years time, Indian aviation market will be back on its trajectory to be one of the biggest aviation market in the world. So it is promising. As I said, technology and young talents are needed, very much needed. As I said, it's no longer just going to be blue collar workers doing the manual job on the ground at the airport. It's going to be high tech staff, people, talents who can embrace the technology, make use of artificial intelligence, make use of business analytics, make use of machine learning. You name it, it's going to be there in the airport, right? So I think it's going to be exciting actually. So what we need to do, or I need to do as an industry player at the moment, is to harness this energy, start looking out for such talents and technologies, especially to the universities as well. I think this is where a lot of ideas gets generated. Bring it out to the market and see how we can implement it and make the ecosystem better. So the good thing about Indian aviation market is the domestic market, right? The international market is struggling. I can talk a bit about Singapore because I'm here at the moment. In Singapore, the market is only, the volume is only about 20-25% at the moment. And unfortunately, there's no domestic flight, right? There's no domestic market. Entirely dependent on transit passengers or international passengers. That's the way it is. But in India, we have a boon. The domestic market itself is so robust, such a huge population, such a good air traffic, such good airlines that we have, right? SpiceJet, Indigo, and so many airlines, Vistara, and everybody is raring to go. And the Udaan scheme is helping, right? We are even trying to move into the tier 2, tier 3 everywhere. So I think it's very promising future for the Indian aviation industry. Give it another 2 years, we'll be there, back to the trajectory that the government was aiming for. And we should, as I said, make use of this 2-3 years to prepare for that trajectory. And we have to, and I think India, we have the talents, the brains, and the technology to actually lead the world when it comes to aviation industry and how things are being done in the aviation industry. As I mentioned earlier, I'm experimenting with IoT and other technology solutions. I'm actually working with a young startup company in Hyderabad to make that happen. It's all young talents there working together with us, understanding the aviation operations, and then coming up with solutions. So I think we are in a good position. India is in a good position as far as the aviation industry is concerned. I'm very positive about it. I'm going to be here to see it through and participate in this positive movement.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I think I'm sure all the students and the faculty members feel more encouraged. There is definitely more for them to contribute and to work with you on. One last question, if you may allow me, what would be a message from your side to the students and the faculty members at the university? What would you like to tell them?
Well, be simple, right? Be simple with the thoughts. Sometimes, and I myself being a student at many occasions, sometimes we tend to think of things in a very complex manner. Think simple and think practical, because end of the day, our ideas need to be brought to the market for the benefit of the larger community or people or the industry. So think simple, make the solutions or ideas practical and implementable and affordable, right? So if our energy and passion is driven in a direction to make sure we see it materialize in the real world, that is the real happiness. So that is what all I have to say, I guess.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so very much. We're really enlightened. So that reflects a lot on your personality, how you view things. So knowing you better has been really nice. Hemantji, are you there? Are you still logged on?
Hello. Yes, sir. Very much.
Yeah, Hemantji. So Hemantji, one question to you as well. I think you are a pioneer into robotics and you know, so many such new things that we just heard from you, and we are trying to work with you on. What would be your message to the students and the faculty members at the university?
Simple things, sir. I think definitely keep things simple. That is there, but I would definitely like to focus on the skill set wherein the students can work around some sort of a tinkering kind of activity at least when they are in college. That will actually help them get a hands-on on many skills that will be required for the decade and couple of decades to come. So it is important that the students have a hands-on skill set to kind of cope up with what we'll have in the days to come. That will be one. And two, definitely keep an eye for this kind of sessions wherein we also see what's happening in the immediate future. So I would
thank you so much,
prefer
Hemantji.
that
Yeah,
students
thank you
take a
so
more
much.
hands-on approach.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And over to you, Rishabh, Dr. Bangaraju, for you know, you may kindly please proceed.
Thing is, Ashwani, I'm really happy for this session. I think I'm gonna go home and tell that flying by air is more safer than anything else than going to the local mandi, at least to the supermarket. And I mean, once the webinar is over, first thing is I'm gonna give a call and let me know when we can get one machine to the campus. Yeah,
sure,
so
sir. We'll
definitely
make
it
sure.
would give more boost to us, and also would be proud that we have this you know, machine in the campus, especially with an alumnus of this thing. Good input from Mr. Ramana and Mr. You know, Haemath. We would definitely look at that, and also we want some sort of collaboration where we can get some inputs from you to, you know, give a hands-on experience to our students. And I understand Mr. Ramana is also from, and I think alumnus from NTU Singapore, so would definitely take a lot of inputs from him also, looking at his qualification and his expertise. So I think next week I would definitely be after him, where our students would definitely need you know, inputs from especially the innovative and simple approaches which you had seen. And we are imparting AI and ML, all those things in our curriculum, but looking at practitioner like Haemath, we need some inputs on the practical aspects and applications, especially in the aviation industry, which we rarely get. Especially, I think this generation of yours would give us an input on that. So thank you, sir. Yeah, over to students. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a brief discussion.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to call upon Ms. Soumya Jain Assistant Professor, School of Business, UPES. Ma'am holds a degree in Masters of Technology from IIT Bombay and degree in Civil Engineering from Jabalpur Engineering College. Ma'am is currently pursuing her PhD in Airport Management from IIT Delhi. She also has a research experience of 2 years. Ma'am, I request you to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Faria. This is Soumya from Department of Transportation Management, School of Business. So first of all, I would like to thank Dean Ma'am, Dr.Githa Heggde, and Head of the Department, Dr.Neeraj Anand, for their unending support to make this webinar a success. Moving on, I would like to thank Dr. Ashwani Khanna for guiding the students at every step. Yeah, we bothered him time and again for making all the connections right and getting all the speakers on board. And next, I would like to thank Mr. Prageesh from Air India Express, Mr. Ramana from Air India SATS, and Mr. Haemath from Janyu Tech. Your words have been very inspiring for the students, and it motivates them to pursue their careers further in aviation sector. And also, you have given us a peek into the current affairs of aviation industry, how everything is so dynamic and ever changing, and how you're gearing up for the new technology and new skill sets required. And finally, I would like to thank the faculty of Department of Transportation Management, who have been supporting the students in every way. And last but not the least, this webinar was organized remotely with the stellar teamwork of Team Udaan, the club of MBA aviation students, MBA and BBA aviation students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We also request Haemath sir to conduct a webinar on robotics and aviation in future. It will be a wonderful opportunity for the students to learn and know more about robotics technology in aviation.
It'll be our pleasure to be part of this kind of an endeavor.
Yes, sir. With this, we come to the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone for joining.